Failure feels like the moment everything is falling apart, but what if it's actually the moment everything is being built right now? This setback hurts because it's stretching you beyond who you used to be, forcing you to grow the strength, patience, and courage that success will later demand. Every time you don't quit, every time you stand back up, you're becoming someone capable of handling bigger pressure, bigger responsibility, and bigger wins. This isn't the end of your story, it's the training ground for the life you're trying to create. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is the raw material success is made from. This idea sounds comforting when spoken casually, but when you are standing inside failure, when plans collapse, effort seems wasted, and self-doubt gets loud, it feels almost insulting. Yet, if we slow down and truly look at how strength is formed in real human beings, we begin to see a powerful truth. The kind of strength that success demands cannot be learned in comfort, praise, or easy wins. It is forged in moments when things do not work, when you fall short, when life refuses to cooperate. Failure builds the internal muscles that success later depends on. Think about strength in a physical sense for a moment. Muscles do not grow because you lift a weight once and succeed easily. They grow because you strain them, tear tiny fibers, rest, and repeat. The discomfort is not a side effect, it is the mechanism. In the same way, failure strains your character, your patience, your discipline, and your belief in yourself. Without that strain, those qualities remain weak and untested. Success, especially meaningful success, requires endurance, emotional control, problem-solving ability, humility, and resilience. Failure is where these qualities. Consider Thomas Edison, a name so closely tied to success that we often forget the scale of his failures. When working on the light bulb, he famously tested thousands of filament materials that did not work. Imagine the emotional weight of that process: years of effort, repeated disappointment, financial pressure, public skepticism. Many people would have quit long before reaching a breakthrough, not because they lacked intelligence, but because they lacked the strength to persist through repeated failure. Edison later said he had not failed thousands of times, but had found thousands of ways that did not work. That statement was not clever wordplay. It reflected a mindset built through failure itself. Each unsuccessful attempt trained him to detach his self-worth from the outcome and focus instead on learning. The success of the light bulb required that exact mental strength. Failure teaches you how to stay standing when confidence is shaken. In the beginning of any journey, confidence is usually borrowed. It comes from motivation, from watching others succeed, from imagining a better future. But borrowed confidence is fragile. The first major setback can destroy it. Failure forces you to build earned confidence, the quiet kind that comes from surviving disappointment and continuing anyway. This kind of confidence does not shout. It does not depend on applause. It simply says, I have been here before. I didn't break. I can keep going. Success depends on this inner stability, because the path to any worthwhile goal is long and unpredictable. Look at J.K. Rowling before Harry Potter became a global phenomenon. She was a single mother, unemployed, struggling with depression, writing in cafes because she could not afford to heat her apartment properly. Her manuscript was rejected by multiple publishers. Each rejection was a failure in the most practical sense. Doors closing, validation denied, time seemingly wasted. But those failures hardened her resolve and clarified. She continued not because success was guaranteed, but because writing had become part of her identity. When success finally arrived, it was not just talent that carried her through the pressure of fame, criticism, and expectation. It was the resilience built during years when no one believed in her work. Failure also teaches patience, a quality modern culture undervalues but success quietly demands. We live in a world of instant feedback, quick results, and highlight reels. Failure interrupts this illusion. It slows you down. It forces you to wait, to endure periods where progress is invisible. This waiting is not empty time. He trains you to work without immediate reward, to trust long-term effort over short-term validation. Success often arrives much later than expected, and without patience, people quit just before their efforts compound. There is a reason so many overnight success stories turn out to be myths. Behind almost every sudden breakthrough is a long history of obscurity, rejection, and quiet failure. Consider athletes who reach elite levels. We celebrate their medals, not their injuries, losses, and years of training without recognition. Yet it is precisely those losses that teach them discipline under pressure. A boxer who has never been knocked down does not truly know how to protect themselves or recover mid-fight. A runner who has never lost a race does not learn how to push past mental fatigue. Failure exposes weaknesses so they can be strengthened. Success depends on those strengthened areas. Failure also sharpens self-awareness. When things go wrong, excuses stop working. You are forced to confront what you do not know, what you need to improve, and where your assumptions were wrong. This honesty is uncomfortable, but it is invaluable. Success built on unexamined weaknesses is unstable. Failure acts like a mirror that shows you not who you wish you were, but who you are right now. From that clarity, real growth begins. Think of a relatable example, someone starting a small business. The first idea fails. Maybe the product does not sell, or the marketing does not work, or costs are higher than expected. That failure hurts financially and emotionally, but within it are lessons no textbook can teach: how customers actually behave, how to manage cash flow, how stress affects decision making. The second attempt is rarely perfect, but it is informed. By the third or fourth attempt, the person has developed instincts, caution, and adaptability. Those qualities, not just the idea itself, are what eventually lead to success. If the first business had succeeded easily, those internal skills might never have developed. Failure builds emotional regulation, another hidden requirement of success. When you fail, emotions surge: anger, shame, fear, disappointment. Learning to sit with these emotions without being controlled by them is a critical life skill. Successful people are not those who feel less. They are those who can think clearly while feeling deeply. Failure gives you repeated practice in managing emotional storms. Over time, you learn that emotions rise and fall, and that you can continue to act with intention even when motivation is low. Success depends on this ability, especially when stakes are high and pressure is intense. Michael Jordan, often called the greatest basketball player of all time, was cut from his high school varsity team. He missed thousands of shots and lost hundreds of games. He openly credited those failures as the reason for his success. What those experiences gave him was not just technical improvement, but mental toughness. He learned how to respond to loss, how to use disappointment as fuel rather than paralysis. When he later faced critical moments in professional games, he was not overwhelmed by pressure. Failure had already taught him how to perform when everything felt on the line. Failure also teaches humility, which is essential for growth. Early success can be dangerous because it can convince you that you already know enough. Failure breaks that illusion. It reminds you that learning is ongoing and that improvement is always possible. This humility keeps you open to feedback, willing to adapt, and eager to improve. Success without humility often leads to stagnation or collapse because the person stops listening and evolving. Failure keeps you mentally flexible. There is also a deeper, quieter strength. Failure builds, meaning when you fail and continue anyway, your journey becomes personal. Your goal is no longer just about external rewards, it becomes about proving something to yourself. This internal motivation is far more durable than motivation based on approval or comparison. When success finally comes, it feels earned, not accidental. It carries weight because you know the cost. For many people, the fear of failure is stronger than the desire to succeed. This fear keeps them playing small, avoiding risks, and choosing comfort over growth. But when you reframe failure as training rather than defeat, something shifts. Each failure becomes a rep in the gym of life. Each setback adds another layer of strength you can draw on later. The goal is not to seek failure, but to stop running from it. Action becomes less intimidating when failure is no longer a verdict on your worth, but a step in your development. Actionable change begins with how you respond to failure, not whether you experience it. When something does not work, instead of asking, "What is wrong with me?" ask, "What is this teaching me?" Instead of quitting immediately, pause and adjust. Write down what went wrong, what you can control, and what you will try differently next time. This simple practice turns failure into feedback. Over time, you build a habit of learning rather than self-blame. Another powerful action is to deliberately put yourself in situations where failure is possible. This might mean starting something before you feel ready, sharing your work before it is perfect, or aiming higher than feels safe. These experiences stretch you. They reveal gaps in your skills and mindset that comfort would hide. Each attempt, successful or not, increases your capacity. Success later depends on that expanded capacity. Failure also builds empathy, which strengthens leadership and relationships. When you have failed, you understand struggle. You become more patient with others and less quick to judge. This emotional intelligence matters deeply in any form of success that involves people, which is most real. World success. Teams trust leaders who have struggled, not those who have only known easy wins. Failure gives you credibility that cannot be faked at some point. Almost everyone who achieves something meaningful reaches a moment where quitting feels logical. Resources are low, progress is slow, doubt is loud. What carries them through that moment is not motivation, but strength. That strength was not built during wins, it was built during losses that did not end them. When success finally arrives, it often feels quieter than expected, but deeper. It feels stable because it is supported by everything you survived to get there. If you are failing right now, it does not mean you are behind. It means you are in training. The discomfort you feel is not a signal to stop, and it is evidence that something inside you is being strengthened. Stay with it, learn deliberately, adjust without giving up. Trust that this process is shaping you into someone capable of handling the success you say you want. Success without strength collapses under pressure. Failure builds that strength piece by piece, lesson by lesson, scar by scar. One day you will look back and realize that the moments you wanted to erase were the ones that prepared you the most. They taught you endurance when motivation faded, clarity when confusion hit, and courage when fear tried to take control. Failure did not delay your success. It made it possible. So if you are standing in a moment that feels like failure right now, don't rush to escape it. Stand still long enough to understand it. This moment is not here to break you. It is here to build you. Every setback you survive is proof that you are stronger than the voice telling you to quit. Every lesson you extract from pain becomes a tool you will use later when the stakes are higher. You are not falling behind. You are being prepared. Decide today that failure will no longer be a stop sign in your life, but a signal to adjust and move forward with more wisdom. Take one small brave action immediately. Apply for the opportunity you've been avoiding. Start the project you've been overthinking. Try again where you once gave up. Do it imperfectly, do it scared, but do it with intention. Momentum is built through action, not waiting for confidence to magically appear. Remember this, the future version of you, the one who stands stronger, calmer, and more capable, exists because you did not quit in moments like this. One day, someone will look at your success and call it luck or talent, never knowing how many times you had to fail to earn it. And you won't need to explain yourself because you'll know the truth. Keep going. Let failure shape you, not stop you. What you're building is bigger than a single moment, and who you're becoming is more important than any outcome. Your next step matters. Take it now.